Howdy, it's Father Scott, and boy, I've been doing some planning that you would not believe. I have 6 months off next year, starting in May 1st to the end of October, and I've been planning to walk that whole time. So what I've done is I made several Caminos. I think a total of 8 Caminos that I'm going to walk in Portugal, Spain, Scotland, and England. And so the thing is, it's kind of expensive to be gone for 6 months, 180 days. And here's what the regulations say. You can spend 3 months or 90 days in Europe, anywhere in Europe. And the way they say it is that you can spend a month there and leave and come back and spend another month, but you have to do that in a total of 180 days. So you have 180 days to burn up 3 months, basically. And so I'm gonna spend 3 months in Portugal and Spain, and then I'm going to spend 3 months in the UK, because if you cross over to the UK, England and Scotland, you can do another 3 months over there, and your U.S. visa will be fine. So here's what I'm gonna do. First of all, I figured out 180 days. Well, if I spent $50 a day for 180 days, you know how much money that is? That's $9 grand. That's a lot of money. And the way I'm gonna do that is I have some camping gear that I bought, and most of the $9,000 I'm going to be able to get from the permanent fund dividend from the state of Alaska. We get money every year, and also my tax returns. I pay quite a bit into the IRS, so I'll be getting quite a bit of money back. That'll cover most of it. Now, the next thing, I bought a bunch of camping gear, about $1,000 worth, and believe it or not, everything I have is in this pack, and I've had it. It's about 20 pounds, and I spent about $1,000. Don't want my lark bottle. Get out of there. Lark bottle. This is good. Can't wait to try this out. So I figure if I camp, I don't want to camp every day because I don't like to camp that much. There's great accommodations, great price out there on the Camino and wherever you're hiking. And so I plan to stay in hostels and even an albergue time or two. Oh, good. And so I figure if I spend 10 days of camping out, that'll save $500. And if I spend another 20, if I spend a total of 20 in the period of 180 days, I mean, I can pay for my basically equipment. That'd be $1,000. And so I wouldn't have to camp out a lot, but I think it would help me with that many days out there to afford it. And so even $50 a day is kind of pushing it as well. I think I can do it. The prices are a little bit higher now, but I think if I can get most hostels. I don't want to stay in too many albergues because I just would rather stay in a single shared bathroom or a single room with a private bathroom. And I think I can get by $30, $40, I think, for one of those if I really check things out. And then of course I would have to buy food, so unless I can get it with the accommodation. But I think I can average $50 per day if I really try. And then the days I camp, I mean, that'll just be a freebie actually, because I have all my equipment paid for. So let me tell you what I've been planning out for 6 months of walking, and I'm pretty happy because I've changed so many times. I've changed from the Catalan to the NORTE, to the French way, to the Madrid. There's just so many routes out there that are just so great, and I'd like to try. But what I've done, I think, is pretty amazing. I went through almost all the Caminos, and I tried to come up with the best routes I could take, the most Caminos I could do in a 3-month period in Spain and Portugal. So the first one I'm going to do with my sister, and it's going to be the Portugal. It's going to be the Portugal one, and I'm going to go. We're going to go from Lisbon all the way up to good old Santiago, and it's gonna. Let me see. I even got the mileage on here. That's 660 kilometers, and I'm thinking 3 weeks to a month probably to do 660 kilometers. I'm gonna try to enjoy it. I may take a little Fatima trip back in here, and then I think it's right in here somewhere, the Fatima detour, and then go back. And my sister and I are probably not going to walk together. We walk at different paces, and you know, this is her first Camino, so we'll see what happens with that. Camino number 1 for me. Then after that, this is what I plan to do. I plan to go over here and do the Camino Madrid. Okay, because it's going to be June and it's not going to be too hot yet, and we're not too far south. I think the Plata, the silver one starts clear down here, and it would be starting to warm up quite a bit in Spain. I think Madrid will be okay the first part of June. So I'm gonna head up this Camino, the Camino Madrid. So that'll be my second Camino, and I've watched quite a few videos on that, and I think it's gonna be pretty nice. Then once I get there, the Camino Madrid, ends in Leon. Okay, now if I just go, I think it's 60 more kilometers down the French way, I can hit good old Camino San Salvador. So Camino San Salvador is 120 kilometers, and I have that right here. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to hit Leon, head over to, let me see, where does it start? Oh, it actually starts in Leon. So the Madrid goes up to Leon, and just within a few kilometers, you can get the San Salvador, I guess. So San Salvador is right there, and it goes all the way up to Oviedo. And you know where Oviedo is? It's at the start of the Primitivo, and I've done the Primitivo, so I don't need to do that. But you know, the one I haven't done. So anyway, it ends in Oviedo, and then I was thinking, well, what am I going to do from there? I've done the Norte, I've done the Primitivo, and then I started looking around, and they have this one called the Ruta Del Mar, and I'm going, oh, that sounds interesting. So I started checking that out, and what I would have to do to get on the Ruta Del Mar is I would have to head down the Norte. I forget how many kilometers, I think about 60 kilometers to this town called Ribadeo. And once I hit Ribadeo, that's where they call it the Camino Do. I think it's D-O Mar, or the Ruta Del Mar. Okay, and it's kind of a new rig. And I have it right here. I have it right there. I don't know if you can see that very well. I don't have it. Yeah, I have it there. It's kind of hard to see. But here's Ribadeo right here. Okay, and then it just instead of this is the Norte. This is the Camino Norte, and it just goes down like this and hits Santiago, and the Primitivo starts back here a ways and goes down, and then over to Santiago. But this route, it takes off the Norte, and it starts going up along the coast, and I guess it's beautiful. It's fantastic up there. So it goes up along the coast. So there's another Camino called the Camino Del Mar, and then what it does is it comes right down here to Ferrol, right where the English way starts. So you get the Del Mar, and then you get here to the English way, and that's a whole other Camino in itself, and then you head down to Santiago. You know, it's just an amazing little route. And so I plan on doing that. And from Madrid all the way up, all the way to the Norte and over, and on this Del Mar, all that way is about 940 kilometers. And so that's only about 8, if I did it in 50, if I did 9, I think it's 940 divided by 50 days, comes out to about 18 or 20 kilometers per day, which is very, very easy, very doable. And so I have that. So that's let me see, how many Caminos is that? That's quite a few. The Madrid is one, and then the San Salvador, okay, and then I go up to Aviles on the Norte and cut across from Aviles to Ribadeo. So 1, 2, and then I hit the Del Mar, which is 3. The English, this is 4, and then I did the Portuguese, which is 5. Now that takes care of 3 months right there. That's a lot of walking. So once I have that done, then I'm gonna get on a bus, or I don't know how I'm gonna get to England, but I'm gonna get over there. I'm gonna get up to Scotland, and there I'm gonna do the it's called the St. Ninian's Way, and it's like a Camino to St. Andrew. And I guess they have this beautiful church up there at St. Andrew, but I'll show you what it looks like. And it's it starts fairly close to London. Let me see. No, it starts it's up in the UK. I'll give you a couple of maps here. First of all, here's the UK. Here's England, and here's Scotland. Well, the Ninian Way is this little guy right here. And I have a bigger picture of it too right there. This is it right here. Oh gosh, I don't know if you can see this. I couldn't reverse the camera, so I can't tell what's coming out or what you're seeing. But I think this should be big enough to see. Here's where it starts. It starts down here, and it goes around kind of to the coast, up to the coast. And here's Glasgow, and here is Edinburgh, and then it goes. There's a ferry you got to take, and then you go up in here, and then here's the St. Andrew's Cathedral, I guess, up in here. It's just real beautiful. And so I have here that is 342 not miles, or 342 miles is what that is. They go by miles up there in the UK. And then, so that'll take care of, I don't know how fast I can do 342 miles. Probably less than a month. I'm thinking I can do that in less than a month. And then I'm going to head back south down to England. And here's an interesting little Camino. It's called the Southwest Coast Camino. And it's just kind of here's London. Here's London here. And here's this Southwest Coast Camino. And you know how long that baby is? It's 630 miles, not kilometers. So they have it broken up into 52 stages. And so you start here, and you kind of start right here, there, and you walk all the way down the tip of this thing, all the way back up here, and then there, and 52 stages. So that's my second month. That's my second and third month up in the UK. And then I would leave out of London when all that's taken care of, all that's done. Now, all these routes that I've chosen end at a beautiful, spiritual place. This is the only one that doesn't, the Southwest Coastal Path. There's no really great church at the end of it or anything like that. But there's quite a few interesting churches along the way and sites that I can still make this a nice spiritual, physical, emotional, whatever walk. And so anyway, there it is. There's 6 months of planning. And I'm just really excited about the whole thing. I've never been hiking for 6 months before. Last sabbatical I had 10 years ago. I did 3 months in Spain, and I think I hiked the Norte and the Portuguese, but I started in Porta. I started in Porta and went up the coast. I haven't, this next year, in 2023, I'm starting with my sister in Lisbon, and we're going up the coast. And then I hiked the entire Norte, too, in those 3 months. I had a little bit of time left over. And then I went down to Guatemala for 3 months to study Spanish. So this year, or next year, I should say, I'm going to do the whole 6 months of walking. And so it ought to be fairly fun. And like I said, I don't really like to camp, but I'm going to do it just to try to save a little bit of money, because it can get kind of spendy after 180 days. Anyway, thanks for listening, and hey, hope to see you out there next year. I know you still got it. It's still like 9 or 10 months away, but I'm already raring to go. All right. Peace. Buen Camino.